Wednesday Year 5, welcome to another day of the London Eye Mystery. We're on day 3, which means we're on day 3 of our Do Nows. So the Do Now is attached to your home learning document as it always is, but it's also here in front of you on the screen if you want to complete it that way. So either way, just pause the video, complete the Do Now, and then we will run through the answers together before we get into our lesson. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers. So here we go. I deduced from the snow that was sticking on the ground that the roads were going to be icy and slippery. So that one went to there. Next one, the dong of the church bell, reverberated around the small village. Number 3, the lifespan of humans has increased in recent years thanks to developments in medicine. And last one, Boris Johnson is always making predictions about when this pandemic will end. Okay, so that's the Do Now. Have it all ticked or fixed and upload it to Seesaw after this lesson. And we're now going to continue on with our paired reading. Okay, so we're going to start our paired reading when I count down on 3, 2, 1, and we're going to do our best to adhere to punctuation. Any issues, just slow down and go back to the start. And just try and keep pace and add intonation expression when we come to speech. Okay, so we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. 6, we go to the I. When I woke up, the sleeping bag on the lilo on the floor next to me was empty. I looked out of the window to do a weather check. The sun shone, the anticyclonic pattern of the recent days continued. Barometers would be set to dry and fair, and ice bars would be far apart, just as I'd predicted yesterday. Okay, so that's the first paragraph. I hope you're able to keep pace. If you need to go back and start again, just to be able to get used to my speed, that's absolutely fine. Okay, otherwise we're going to keep going in 3, 2, 1. I found Salim with Kat in the bathroom. He had Dad's razor blade in his hand and was shaving off the faint hairs over his upper lip and laughing at the same time. But I thought it looked good, Salim, Kat said. Salim turned and winked at me. Thing is, the more you shave, the more it grows back. It's like lawn mowing. This made Kat hoot with laughter. When owls hoot, it doesn't sound like humans laughing, so I don't know why people say hoot, but they do. Nor could I see any logic in hairs or grass growing longer by being cut off. But I laughed too, because I wanted to be Salim's friend. Then I ran a finger over my own upper lip. There were no hairs there, and this was good. I wasn't sure about the idea of hairs growing on my face. For one thing, shaving is dangerous. Dad often comes out of the bathroom with bits of blood-drenched toilet paper stuck to his skin. For another thing, facial hair is a sign that we've evolved from apes. And then you remember that we evolved from apes, you have to admit how limited human intelligence is mostly. Okay, keep going with this, adhering to the punctuation. We're going to keep going, and then I'm going to get you to read a little bit on your own. Okay, from here, if you turn my volume down slightly, then do, if I'm drowning you out. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Then we had breakfast. I had 43 shreddies, Kat had toast, and Salim started on a bowl of cornflakes, but didn't finish it. Then we left the house with Mum and Aunt Gloria walking behind us, talking up a storm. Remember, we discussed talking up a storm yesterday, means talking non-stop. This is one of my favourite things people say. It doesn't mean they were arguing, which is what it might sound like. It means they were talking non-stop and not paying attention to anything else around them. When storms happen, it is hard to pay attention to anything else. Okay, now I'm going to get you to read a little bit on your own. I want you to read from Kat and Salim down as far as Dad. Okay, so this bit is on your own, just like yesterday when you were reading on your own. Okay, pause the video here and then we'll continue together soon. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Never, said Salim. Yeah, said Kat. Why's it got to go? Dad's house full of drugs and needles and suicidal moms and cockroaches. Yuck. Yeah. And the postman wouldn't deliver things anymore. Salim looked up at it, some height. Then Kat pointed to another big tower. That's where our mum works, Salim. Guy's tower. No way. Yup. Okay, so when we come to speech, like I just did there, try and add some intonation and expression to get the character across. I'm going to keep going here together in 3, 2, 1. The tower was silver and tall, and I could see Salim was impressed with London because he looked at the tall buildings with his eyes wide open and his mouth open. Then we had to go down onto the tube. Kat and Salim sat next to each other, and I sat 2 seats down between 2 strangers. I folded my arms across my chest to stop my hands flapping and shaking itself out, which is a habit Mr. Shepherd says I must lose. I stared at the tube map of London. It is a topological map. A topological map is a very simplified map, not to scale, so with no relation to the real distances. The stops stand for places where you can get on or off or sometimes change trains, and these are ordered into straight lines with junctions, whereas in reality they're all higgledy-piggledy. Okay, let's stop here, and you're going to read from if down to about. Okay, so you're going to read on your own this time, just that section. Okay, pause the video and off you go. Okay, and together in 3, 2, 1. I tried to see if he was bored. When people are bored, Mr. Shepherd says the muscles in their face don't do anything, and they stare without really looking. And he says I should always check to see if this is how people are looking when I talk to them. Salim was laughing and nudging Kat, so I deduced that he was not bored, although I would have been. We got out at Embankment Station so that we could walk over one of the Golden Jubilee bridges and see the view. The sky was blue, the river was grey, the eye was white. The capsule moved so slowly they hardly seemed to move at all. Halfway across the Thames, Salim took an old-fashioned camera, the kind where you have to use a film, from his pocket. That's an interesting camera, Salim, Kat said. My mum gave it to me for going to New York. I wanted a digital one, but she says this kind will make a better photographer of me in the long run. Then he snapped everything in sight, including one of Kat and me together with the London Eye behind us. After he clicked, his mobile phone rang with its James Bond theme tune. He leaned over the bridge rails and spoke into it like a spy on a 00 mission, as if he didn't want anyone to overhear. That phone of yours, okay, we're going to go into some speech here, so I want you to really focus on your expression as we go into it. Okay, starting here in 3, 2, 1. That phone of yours, Aunt Gloria said when he'd finished the call and folded the mobile away. Who was it this time? Just another friend, Salim said, calling from Manchester to say goodbye. Let's keep going. We're running late. Late for what, Salim? I asked. Late for the wheel. You can't be late for the London Eye, I said. It turns all day long, 2 times an hour, every hour. Big Ben donged 11 o'clock and we reached the ticket queue, which was very long. The 2 mums groaned. It's infinite, Mum said. No, it's not, I said. Infinity. Why don't we come back later and go to the Tate first, Aunt Gloria said. You're going to do a little bit on your own again. Okay, without me helping you, you promised all the way down to Q. Okay, pause the video here and continue with that. Okay, and we're going to finish the page together. Kat's eyes went large and round as she took the money. She put it carefully away in her leopard skin backpack. Then she, Salim and I found the end of the ticket queue and joined it. A lady in front asked the lady in front of her if she knew how long the wait was, and the lady 2 people up the queue said it was half an hour to get tickets and another half hour to board. A whole hour, Kat groaned. Maybe that is too long. Kat, I said. An hour is a drop in the eternal ocean of time. This is what Father Russell at her church said once about the human lifespan. Salim grinned. Too right. He took out his camera again and did another shot from where we were standing. I asked if I could take one. Don't let him, Salim, Kat said. Ted's useless at stuff like that. You'll end up with a paving stone and half a trainer. But Salim didn't listen. He gave me the camera and I aimed through the viewfinder to the crux of the wheel. It jogged when I pressed the button. I took the camera away from my eye to see a man walking towards us. He wore an old leather jacket, unzipped, and a black t-shirt with writing on it, but I didn't notice what it said. He was dark-haired, with an afternoon shadow on his chin, which is what Dad says he gets at weekends when he's a day off shaving. As the stranger drew nearer, he threw a cigarette to the ground and stubbed it out under his heel, for which he could have been fined £1,000 for dropping litter, but nobody seemed to notice apart from me. He came right up. Excuse me, he asked, are you looking for a ticket? Okay, we're going to stop there. with our paired reading. So well done for following along. I know there was a lot in that today. There's 6 pages to read, and my voice is getting tired, so I'm sure yours is too. Okay, we're going to look at the questions. I'm going to model the word meaning ones, and then I'm going to let you do the fact or opinion and the comprehension questions as well. Right, so I'm going to do the first one together. Just like yesterday with finding a copy, it's really important to go to the page and get the context of what's happening instead of relying just on what's written in the question. So, page 44. Look at the paragraph beginning, then we pass the barracks. What is the closest meaning to the term "it would have been flattened" that Cat uses to describe what will happen to the building? So, I'm not even going to look at the options yet. I'm going to go to page 44 as I was instructed. And I'm going to look at the paragraph beginning, then we pass the barracks. So here we are. This paragraph is what we're looking at. Then we pass the barracks. Salim said how huge it was, and I said it had 24 stories, and Kat said it would be flattened any day now by her dad. So they're passing the barracks. We know that Dad is a demolition expert who's going to knock down these barracks. That's what we can visualize. They're passing the tall building that Dad is going to demolish. So let's have a look at the question now again. Look at the paragraph, then we pass the barracks. What is closest to the term "it would have been flattened" that Cat uses? So does it mean the building would have been made flat? The building would be demolished. The 24 stories would be knocked down just to leave 1 story, or the building is going to change from a 3D shape to a 2D shape. Now, based on what I just said about us knowing what Dad does from previous chapters, and that he's going to knock the barracks down, we can deduce that the building would be demolished. Okay, so that is the correct answer for that one. It's really, really important to use visualization and the imagery that comes into your head to help you with these word meaning questions. So you're going to go and do the rest of the word meaning. Then you're going to come back, you can keep going and do the fact or opinion, and then the questions as well. Now, just going to have a quick look at these questions. How does Ted know that Salim was not bored? If you have a how do you know question, it's a good idea to put in some evidence. Okay, a why question, you need to start it with because. Here, they're quite literal questions. Another why question means a because, and how do you know? And you can use a quote as well here. Then the extension is an important skill, being able to summarize this extract very, very succinctly and briefly. Try and do it in less than 100 words. Okay, so you can go off and do the questions now, then unpause the video again when you're ready to mark your work. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers. Second one of the word meaning was on page 48. It says Kat's eyes went large and round as she took the money. How was Kat feeling when she took the money from her mom? Was she excited, nervous, stunned, or happy? And the answer was stunned. Page 43. Then we left the house with Mom and Aunt Gloria walking behind us talking up a storm. What is closest in meaning to the phrase talking up a storm? It was talking a lot. Well done. Page 46. Mr. Shepherd says the muscles in their face don't do anything and they stare without really looking. How are people feeling when they have this kind of expression on their face? Okay, and the answer was bored. Okay, so it's important to read around that paragraph on page 46. And then we look at fact or opinion. The sleeping bag on the floor next to Ted was empty. That was a fact. Ted ate 43 shreddies for breakfast is also a fact. Salim thought the barracks were huge. That is an opinion. Yes, it is a fact that it has been written in the text, but because it's Salim, what Salim is thinking, it is an opinion, because not everybody might think the barracks were huge, especially if you were in London. You're probably used to big buildings, whereas he's from Manchester, so he's probably less used to big buildings, and it's his opinion that the barracks were huge. Topographical and topological maps are two very different things. That is a fact. And Kat's laugh sounded like an owl. That is an opinion. Okay, so well done if you got all those correct. Now on to the questions. How does Ted know that Salim was not bored on page 46? Well, because he was laughing and nudging Kat. And then the quote is to help and support. Salim was laughing and nudging Kat, so I deduced that he was not bored. Number 2. Why did Ted laugh at what Salim had said, even though he didn't find it funny? Because he wanted to be Salim's friend. Okay, because it's why question, answer with because. Number 3, how many stories high was the barracks? 24. Who called Salim on his mobile phone? And it was a friend. Why did this person call Salim? Because they were saying goodbye. Okay, so why question? Answer it with because. 6. How do you know the cat was frustrated that it would take an hour to get onto the eye? She groaned. Okay, I haven't put inverted commas there or speech mark, but that is actually from the text because we do know that she groans. Okay, I'm also looking forward to seeing how you summarize the text. Looking forward to seeing all this on Seesaw alongside your due. Now, so 3 things to upload to Seesaw, just like yesterday. Your due now, self-marked, questions, self-marked, and then a short extract of reading as well. Okay, have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.